What's up, everybody? It's your boy Al.
And I'm Erica.
And today we talking about integrity.
That's right. What are you doing when no one is watching you?
Integrity. Integrity spells integrity.
Boom.
It's time to settle down. Everybody gather round.
It's the Alan and Erica show.
We gon' talk about it, so let's talk about it.
Alan and Erica show.
Conversations now, mixed with love and laughter.
Alan and Erica show.
We gon' talk about it, so let's talk about it. Alan and Erica, Alan and Erica, Alan and Erica, the show.
Babe.
Yeah.
It's an open, not a song.
What? That's what I do.
What's up? Today we're going to talk about integrity, man. Integrity goes a long way, man. Just being truthful and mindful and thoughtful of things that you want to do within your life that has to use integrity. You know, a lot of people don't use integrity, and those are the people that really get by in life. I don't know how, but integrity goes a long way with living life to the fullest, and sometimes it can help you and it can hinder you. What do you think about this, Erica? You want to open up with integrity also?
Well, first I want to ask a simple question. Why are you wearing a crown today?
Oh, it's Father's Day. I'm sorry. I totally forgot. Shout out to all the fathers with integrity out there that actually take care of their kids.
Yes.
You know, and don't just leave them kids out there just straggling, you know, with integrity.
Yes.
You can take care of your kids, man.
Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. First, my father, who, I'm sorry, guys, he's the best father out there.
Yeah.
When I was in heaven, I said to God, hey, I think we should come up with a day to honor this guy. And he said, well, Erica, you can't be selfish. You got to honor all of them. So you're welcome that he's able to share his day with you.
Right.
But happy Father's Day to Johnny Lee, the best father to ever do it. Right up under him is Alan Lamont Irvin III, father of Alan Lamont Irvin IV.
Yes.
He is a staple father. I watched the way he loves his children. And when we were dating, the first thing he said to me was, as long as you know I am in love with my children. Happy Father's Day, babe.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Best father that I could partner with.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And we also got to give a happy shout out. If we can't have Father's Day without giving a shout out to the Heavenly Father.
I know that's right.
Our Lord.
Well, he's like every day.
God is he took care of his son.
Yes.
Yeah, killed him.
No, he didn't kill them. He allowed him to be killed.
Well, that's a dad.
Let's say, okay. Happy Father's Day, God. Only my husband would honor God enough to say Happy Father's Day to God. I like that.
There you go. Happy
Our
Father's
Heavenly
Day,
Father.
Heavenly Father.
All right. So integrity, right? Mm-hmm. Well, when I looked up the word, it talked about acting out according to your core values. Mm-hmm. So how do we establish integrity is to first identify what are your core values. Mm-hmm. So we talk about having integrity, and then we talk about not having integrity.
Right.
I like the way my student, when I asked him, what do you think integrity means? One of my students said, it means what you do when no one else is watching.
Wow.
And to me, that really identifies what integrity is. So, Alan.
Yeah.
What are your core values? What do you base your integrity around?
That's that. I mean, I just don't like, just like doing people dirty when it comes to getting something that I want from them. I always try to include the person because I'll say something like, yo, hey, you have a spot that I can use, for me to build my build what I'm building. Let's put it together. I got what you want, you got what I need. Let's put it together and get this money. that's how I really perceive integrity. You know, it's like helping the person out and using what that person has to get what you want, but not take from them, you know, and just like use them and then be like, yeah, I made that up. And then you got the whole world thinking that you were the person to discover, you know, this, you know. So that's just how I really look at integrity, man. I'm an integritized person, and it's a word. Anytime I say a word, it don't make sense, look it up. If it ain't there, check with me. It's a word.
Well,
Integritized.
I guess in honor of Father's Day, right? Then it's only right for us to talk about the founding fathers of this country that we're in, right?
Integrity.
Since we're talking about integrity, the founding fathers of this country, do you think they founded this country on integrity or the lack of integrity?
No, and it's funny because I just recently heard a quote from I think it was Christopher Columbus.
Oh,
Yeah, he saw.
okay.
He said that he came here. I'm not.
Yes,
It's not
I remember
verbatim.
this. It's in his diary.
Yeah, it's not verbatim, but he said that he came here. He saw that the people here were loving, they were giving, they were caring, they were nurturing, and everything. And he said, "I can take over these people." It's like, what type of evil is that? Like that, and it's like. With integrity, he could have said, wow, man, you know, I need to take this whole method of how they live in life and take it and bring it back so that way we can have an everlasting living life here in America. But that dude just saw an opportunity because he saw a whole bunch of simps, a whole bunch of suckers. And I mean, that's foul. It's foul.
It is. I mean, if you
That's
follow the colonization of any of the nations that already existed with an original people, if you find any of the diaries of the founding fathers, which is so strange because how can you find something that's not lost? But here we are. They all said that they saw what was in the land, they surveyed what was in the land, and they were only seeking out weakness.
Yeah.
And so when they saw kindness and acceptance, and he even wrote in his diary that he had never seen a people as kind as this. And he said, they shall be easily subdued. So, I mean, it just shows you that we will always be up against a world of a lack of integrity. We have, you know, someone's in the office right now that has a lack of integrity, you know. He gonna do what he want to do if you watching or not. So, I mean, but again, it goes back to the definition of it, right? We on the outside can say, how can Christopher Columbus say that or do that? Or how can, you know, the white men that finally made it to Egypt and saw the original scribes on the wall, which very similarly related to the Bible. They found a lot of the original passages that had been reworked in the Bible. And then even when they found the statues that look like black people, they cut off the noses and just the lengths that people went through to eradicate history or to eradicate an entire existence of people is just crazy. But when you're the victim, it's easy to say that that's a lack of integrity. Well, we're saying that based off of our moral compass. But when you have people out here in the world who literally can build their entire character off of a moral compass about conquering or taking over. We were watching the Roland Martin show years ago, and there was a guy on there who said that that's what he knew his character was, that he took pride in knowing that he came from a people who solely sought out people to take, destroy, and control.
Sound like a pimp to me.
Sound like Satan to me.
Yeah,
Kill,
damn.
steal, and destroy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you don't have to do a whole lot of digging to figure out what group of people are following what moral compass. So, you know, we could say that people are moving with a lack of integrity, but they, according to themselves, could be actually operating in integrity because the definition of integrity is to operate within your moral compass. So when we talk about moral compasses, I think of something that I also enjoyed watching you again in honor of Father's Day. I love that when I met you, you had a creed of a sort. For your children. It was something that you told them that they always had to have. What were those things, babe? Do you remember?
Yeah, I sure do. Let's go into it.
Okay.
Integrity. These are the moral things, standards that I told my kids, and they know them. If you ask them, go to them, and they say, tell me your dad's 4 moral viewpoints of life. And they'll say it's responsibility, judgment, character, and respect. You know, and those are the things. I mean, I just think that all three of those things build character. Like you have to be responsible for a lot of things that you do. You know, and I think I might want to just add accountability in there. I should have just threw that in there, but I think that comes with responsibility.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and then respect. You know, have respect for others, and they'll have respect for you. And you know, and use proper judgment. When you use proper judgment, it's just going back to the show that we did called Choices. You know, you just take that back, and all of those things just build character. And I'm just as a father today, I'm just so happy that, you know, I look at my kids and I put that on them, and they live by that creed every day. I mean, they're not perfect. You know,
No one on this earth is.
Yeah, they'll do some things that make you say, "Oh, wait a minute, your dad said respect, responsibility, judgment, and character," and they'll say, "Man, I'm just having an off day," but I know, you know. But I'm just fortunate enough that they turned out to be really good kids, and I'm pat myself for that. I mean, you know, because it's not a lot of fathers out here with integrity that actually take care of their kids. I put up a post today. It said, "How can you be a deadbeat dad, man? Kids are dope. Like, being a father is dope, man. Like, how can you be that to a child that didn't even ask to be here?" You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have to have integrity to do that, man. You know what I mean? It's not hard. It's not hard at all.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Well, there are some people that don't take care of their kids, but there are a lot of men who do.
Yeah.
There are a lot of men who do. I'm so incredibly blessed to be surrounded by a lot of men in my family that were there for their kids, that took care of their children, and stayed married too.
Yeah.
So I know that I'm odd in that way, but I can honestly say that my life has been surrounded by a lot of Black men that had integrity and took care of their families. When we talk about moral compasses, for me, of course, for me,
I'm sorry,
growing
let's
up,
talk about moral compasses for you.
That's okay. I can introduce my own moral compass.
I didn't pull her into it. I just left mine because I think I left and I just was like,
no, I chimed in on yours. That's what it was. So I didn't
Okay.
give you a chance. It's okay.
so let's talk about your moral compasses,
Well,
Erica.
thank you. Religion was at the root of mine. My mother, I think my dad went along with it, but my mother really wanted us to grow up in the church. It had its pros and its cons. The best thing that my parents could have done for me was to introduce me to God, like to know that there is a God. And then, of course, that relationship continues to evolve. Like, who is God? What does that mean exactly? How do I live my life according to that concept that there is a God? And what that means. And my mom's, her number one character that she pushed for us was love. That was so huge. It was love. My dad was a constant example of love. But what happens when you are raised in a loving family with the moral compass rooted in religion is you kind of come out with an unrealistic perception of the world. So I like that when I met you, you were talking about those four things: the responsibility, the respect, the judgment, and that is what makes your character. And you find out that in time, yes, you can love, but love is complex. And love does come with accountability. So if I teach my children, or if I say to myself as a moral compass, that I'm going to be responsible. Responsible means that I have to be responsible for myself. I have to be responsible for my heart. I have to be responsible for my feelings. And so you have to learn quickly about what exactly that means. When we talk about respect, it's saying, first, I got to start with me. And that's the thing. I think when we think about love, we automatically think about loving someone else. I got to love me first.
Yeah.
And so when you take those things now with an evolved mindset, I think those are and still remain two of the largest components of my moral compass. It's God and love. But now that I understand that love doesn't mean that it's a fluffy feeling and I let you get away with whatever you want to do to me. And now that I understand that, what was my other one? God and love. That love comes with accountability. That's my favorite. Like, love holds you accountable. It's not always comfortable. And parents, I'm sure you can attest to this, because you love your children is why you discipline them, why you sometimes tell them no. So when I understood those two things, that to honor God meant first to honor myself And to honor myself, I may have to dishonor you. And then to also know that love is so complex that it doesn't mean that I have to be a sucker
Right.
or I have to be ran over or crucified for you. So I just want to encourage everybody, including myself, because I know this is hard for me in my workplace. I am often stooped and stumped about me trying my best to work according to integrity and working with people who do not.
Right.
And so, what do you do in that situation is you have to always remind yourself that you have a different moral compass.
Yeah.
You got to stop comparing yourself to other people. Like, so when we say things like, how can they do that? How can they get away with that? How can they? I'm going to tell you right now, it's a hustler of all time hustlers, okay, that's on my timeline. When I tell you this girl is such a queen, supreme hustler, I mean, like, her livelihood changes from month to month. She got these people believing so much. And I watch her and I go, how in the world is she getting away with this? And it's like, one, you don't know her whole story, so you can't judge it. And two, that's according to her moral compass, not mine. So you can't put your stuff on other people. So just don't forget that when talking about integrity or dealing with integrity. I think it gets very easy to say, well, F it. Like if people out here can do this and get away with it, then I'm going to do it too. Then know that if you go against your own moral compass, then you're going to reap the consequences of that because it's too late. The moral compass is in you. So if you go against your own moral compass, then you're going to reap the consequences that come from going against your own moral compass.
Yeah, it's like karma. Like if I'm the type of person that can get away with doing things to people, getting away with it, that's according to my moral compass. I don't use integrity. I just go with what I feel is going to help me out. But then if I'm a person that doesn't do that and I use integrity and I say, you know what, I'm going to just start doing what other people do because it seems to be working out for them. I'm going to be the first one to get punched in the face.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the first one to get locked up. I'm going to be the first one to get burned. I'm going to be the first one to do anything that didn't have integrity written. It's like, I have it in me to just be like a nice dude. Like, yo, I'm gonna go ahead and help this person now, this and that. But as soon as I say, you know what, man, no, I'm gonna do it like them because they winning. I'm gonna go ahead and start robbing banks, man, because I don't want to make money the easy way. I want to just go ahead and take it. The first day I do it, I know I'm going to jail.
Yeah, because you
I'm
know
going to jail.
better.
Exactly, and I have integrity. I have to do things a certain way because that's just how I'm built. And if I try to do it another way, knowing that it's not even if I don't want to say anything speaking in existence or anything, but even if I'm down on my luck, I still would probably pride myself in integrity to get back on my feet. I don't know. I don't want to put myself in that position.
Well, we kind of have. Our life changed drastically in a season, and we still held on to our integrity. It was certain things that we wouldn't do.
Yeah.
It was certain handouts that we wouldn't take.
Yeah.
So,
like that time. Yeah, that time I called up my cousin who sells weed, and I was like, "Yo, you know what, man? I'm gonna give him like a couple $100 so I could probably just sell weed, try to get some money and sell weed." And I don't know. Every time we try to do it, God blocks and said, "Dude, for
Wait,
real."
what cousin is this? Do I know him? Never mind. The less I know, the better. Go ahead.
Yeah. So,
Oh man, it didn't work out. You tried to be like a distro or what?
well, the silent partner.
Oh, you want okay.
Yeah,
I understand that.
And the silent partner always get fucked in the head. Because you silent. You don't know nothing about what's going on, so I could tell you anything. So my integrity.
So you want to be an investor. Okay. I like where you're going.
So
okay.
I just was like, this ain't gonna work. And I even had the $100 to give him. But
Yeah, ready to go.
That wasn't even enough. Like I should have invested like at least 500 maybe to get back a good push of 1,000 or 800. You know what I'm saying? You got to try to flip it, but ain't no way God was going to let that happen with us.
It wasn't going to bless
Nah,
it. Yeah,
nah.
we considered that too. It's not only money. You have to pay attention to who souls into you too.
Right.
Sometimes God will not allow people to be a part of your victory. There are some of you right now that are so offended and angry because somebody didn't help you. You need to thank God that He didn't allow that person to help you.
Right.
Because people are like seed. If they plant into you, that means they're going to reap your harvest. So sometimes God goes, I know the conversations that they have about you behind closed doors. And you will not be a part of their harvest. Move along, move around. So we're grateful for that. We get our feelings hurt a lot, but we've learned to say, you know what, good looking out, God. I appreciate that. Thanks.
Yeah, it's
Because you don't
hardship.
know what it kept you from, you know? So the moral compass, I mean, the same thing you talked about. Well, one, I wanted to talk about a scripture too that says each man is judged according to his own conscience. I remember I was watching this documentary and there was a young couple and they lived in a neighborhood that wasn't great for them. And neither one of their families had a lot of money and they could not find a job for anything. They were trying and they knew that if they could just be together and build a new life and start over and get away from the violence in their neighborhood, they can make it. And so these were two young people and again, didn't have the support of their family. And so they decided, well, we ride by this neighborhood that seems to have wealthy people. If we could just go into this one house that's usually empty and take what we need, then we'll be able to take the money and just start a new life. But when you know it, somebody was home. And they ended up accidentally killing someone. Now, it was a black boy and a white girl, so you can figure out who went to prison and who had probation, but their lives were forever changed. Now, you can look at that story and say they knew better, but each man is judged according to their own conscience. That's the first thing they thought of. How do you get out? Like sometimes we don't do that. We don't consider the person's story. We're so quick to judge and say, well, that's what they get. Well, you don't know their story. You don't know their thinking. You don't know what they've gone through. And so be careful with integrity. That's one of those things where you can only worry about yourself.
Yeah.
Worry about yourself. Okay.
You drive.
Yeah. Worry about yourself. There's a popular video of this little girl who's in the back seat. She's got to be about 3 years old, and she's in this booster seat. And so you can tell she's at the independent stage of her life, and she's trying to buckle her seatbelt. So her father hasn't pulled off, and he turns around and he's like, Rose, do you need me to help you? And she's like, no, I'm fine. Worry about yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, you drive. I got
I'm
this.
good.
So sometimes Alan and I remind each other, like, hey, worry about yourself. Because on this journey, when you're walking according to your own moral compass, it appears that everybody around you is winning. And so you could get deterred or sidetracked because you're looking to the left, to the right, or even behind you. And so we remind ourselves, worry about yourself.
Yeah, hustling just ain't you.
Yeah.
Some things ain't for you, bro.
That's right.
Yeah, you have to stick with you have to stick with your moral compass, man. Because as soon as you try to step over into their world of what they call integrity, and you see that they winning, I'm more worried about the downfall. Like I'm not worried about the come up. I'm worried about the downfall because you can see somebody coming up, off of just like sliming people, just taking what they have and using it for themselves. And but at the end of the day, when you get older and time goes by, man, you'll see them people, man, they'll be on the ground, and you'll be the one come up, but you came up off of integrity. You built your bricks, brick by brick, layer by layer, and you built that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, they steal stuff and build it. And, that karma and integrity comes hand in hand, man. It won't work. It won't. It just won't, man.
You says people steal stuff and build on it. I said America. Sound like America a little bit.
Ooh, we going back
saying.
into America.
I mean, it's Father's Day. I've got to pay homage to our founding fathers. You know.
Yeah, the ones who found America.
Right.
They found this place.
Yes. Happy Father's Day.
Yeah. I just
for putting on somebody else's sneakers.
I just want to like forget my integrity and just walk into a bank and say, yeah, all this money mine's. And they be like,
because technically it is, right?
Right, because I could go in there and just say, you just like, remember when Killmonger went on Black Panther, he went to the thing, he said, yeah, I'm going to just take this off you. And she said, oh, it's not for sale. He said, well, how do you think your people got it? Y'all stole it. You know what I'm saying? Without using integrity. Using integrity. So at the end of the day, they they didn't use integrity.
No. Well, and according to their moral compass, they may have.
Yeah, and they still don't.
I do have an example of a time that when we talk about moral compasses, I feel like it is also based off of experience and knowledge. Because has there ever been a time where your integrity shifted? I'll talk about mine, and then as I talk about it, maybe you'll think about an example of when yours may have
Yeah,
shifted.
give me an example.
Okay, so when I, right now in my current role, there was a time where I was responsible for the entire campus alone.
Right.
So the new director came in and she is over me. And there were things that she took over, some responsibilities, but the way she took them over was she took them and then gave them to someone else. For me, that was a lack of integrity. One of them was giving out the statements, the financial statements to students. She gave that to someone who couldn't speak to financial aid and just wasn't really administratively strong in anything. So if a student had a question, they wouldn't know. But she gave that away with the instructions of give these to the students. And if they have any questions, then they'll come see me. Well, at the time, the students weren't familiar with her. So they were all coming to me, right? And so for me, it was a lack of integrity. I was saying I would never do that. I would never give a financial statement of a student to someone else and have them just, give it out like sheets, because before she came, I would call the student into the office and explain it to them. I would say, this is what this is what happened, this is what went out. Do you understand? Yes. Do you have any questions? Yes or no? And then have them sign. And so I was very judgmental about that. Like, how can she do that? Until I understood that in this state, because things are different. I've worked with the same company, but now this is the second state that I've worked for the company. They are responsible for far more responsibilities with less resources down here. So in her mind, she's saying, I got to get it done, whatever way I can get done. So instead of taking out the time to go over with every single student, I could put that responsibility back on the student and say, hey, I at least made sure it was in your hands. And then I let you know, not personally, but by one of my workers, that if you have questions, I'm available. Do you know how much time she carved out of her day by not meeting with each and every student over that sheet of paper? So once I understood more about the totality of the role and all that was required, my integrity shifted. And I didn't look at that anymore like she was doing that with the lack of integrity. I said, oh, that makes sense.
Wow. Makes sense. So, and she just told you about her job experience of integrity, and I was just getting right into mine. I have, I'm working on a lot of projects. I just landed a Aunt Anne's commercial.
Second one.
Okay. Just pat myself on the
Yes, I got you, babe.
There you go. And
It's a rub and a pat.
Yeah, thank you. But dealing with integrity when it comes to that is, it's a lot of people in this industry that will try to use you. I had a person, try to butter me up and use me for my resources to try to get what they want from me. But then when I turn the tides, I don't hear from these people no more. I don't hear from them. They don't call. They don't this and that because they thought they could use their moral compass to integritize me, with that. But yes, right. But and use my integritation so that way I could stay focused on what I need to do. I would help the person out, but I just know what your motives is, and I just can't do it because you're not going to do that to me. And the person, he don't call no more or whatever. I ain't gonna front. I just recently seen he had a video where he finally got a roll of something. It was like a small roll. So I know his head is like poof. He big time now. But he tried to use what he felt as a moral compass to get ahead in life instead of saying, hey, I got something for us and I'm gonna use it for the greater good of us, not just myself. But I'm gonna just shout out. I got this one dude, man. I'm shout out my man Muhammad, man. Muhammad, he's a dude that I met down here in Atlanta, man. He a real good dude, man, and his integrity is at 100.
And Dez.
Oh yeah, and Dez. But I'm just shout out to
Muhammad.
Dez,
Sorry,
Muhammad, Rico, all the people that I mess with down here. But my man Muhammad. Every time he finds something that has something to do with acting, he calls me straight up first. He said, Al, I'm going to call you first because I know it's something about you that I need to tap into. but he's not. He don't. I don't feel he uses me. You know, he don't use his
Because
integrity.
he's sharing resources.
Exactly.
Right.
He's sharing it, and he's putting me on. And when I find something, I put him on. So it's kind of vice versa. You know, tennis match of things that we do for each other, man. So shout out to Muhammad. That's my man. But a lot of other people, man, they do these things and it don't work out for you, man. I mean, I wish you the
Sometimes
best.
it does.
It does. But like I said, I only think about the come up. I always think about the downfall. And if you don't have a downfall, then more power to you, man.
Yeah.
But all I know is, I just want to do. I'm gonna move things the way I move things. And if I'm missing a lot of things because of my moral compass of using integrity, then so be it. It ain't for me until the next thing is for me. So that's just how I would go with it.
Yeah. No, I think okay. And that's word life. Okay. Well, that's a perfect example of a sliding integrity, right? Because Alan and I are givers. And we were very immature in our thinking of, well, if I find something, why wouldn't I share it with you? Until we got burned 89,000 times, especially down here, almost immediately.
Yeah.
We had at least 3 people plug into us right away and just straight up asked us about something. We
They tried
gave
to
that
Christopher
information.
Columbus us.
Well, one did. Remember her?
Yeah, right, yeah.
Kids had a wonderful time. She does not mess with me no more. She got what she
wanted.
needed,
Yeah.
and she didn't hide it. Like once she found out what we did, it was like I'm gonna be your best friend, and then that was it.
Yeah.
So. Your integrity has to move sometimes. Your moral compass has to grow based off of your maturity and the information. We could keep giving our stuff away and watching people. Alan and I have literally watched people become successful off of the information that we freely gave, the resources that we freely gave.
Yeah.
And those people,
Off of
when they
love.
got ahead, they no longer looked at us.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you how God still protects us, because that's just the beginning, baby.
Yeah.
Now, when we have larger resources, we know to keep it close to home. So sometimes you have to go through those things to learn. And then also learn that having integrity doesn't mean that I have to freely give to you. In fact, having integrity means that I have to protect what's mine. You have to go get yours. Okay? So, moral compass. Identify your moral compass. Stay open, because it will evolve with time and more experience.
Yeah.
And know that your path is yours alone, because it is according to your moral compass. And if you think about the word compass, it's usually which way to go, right? So if you are living your life according to your moral compass, then you will go get the thing that is especially and specifically assigned to you.
Ittesarata mustaqim.
Bismillah.
Bismillah. Alhamdulillah. So that concludes our show. And,
That's it.
It's been a good day.
Yeah.
Good Father's Day. Everybody got what they wanted. We went out and got some good food.
Yes.
And we purple today.
Yes, a little lavender for love.
Yeah. So I'm out.
And I'm Erica. And this is the Alan and Erica Show. See you next time.
Woohoo.